Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, my dear friends and colleagues in our global community. It brings me much joy, and I'm just really pleased to be able to be together with three outstanding leaders that have contributed so thoughtfully to our series of Rising to the Top at a global level. It gives me a real pleasure to introduce the person who will facilitate this webinar today, Dr. Soma Chakrabarty, representing the ANSYS community, which is an important corporate partner of both IFEES and GEDC. But she's also the first vice president and treasurer of the International Federation of Engineering Education Societies, IFEES, and also president of IACEE that she's been leading for several years. I'm just very, very pleased that she is facilitating this conversation with two very special, outstanding leaders in Tanzania and Somaliland, Julia Palanyangyo and Fihima Mohammed Hassan. Dear ladies, I'm very, very happy to be with you this morning. All the very best. Please go ahead, Soma.
Thank you so much, Hans. It is an honor to facilitate this discussion, which has stemmed from our very dear book, Rising to the Top. And I don't know whether Thagwa is there in the audience, but it all started with Dr. Thagwa Musa of Sudan. She wrote a little memoir and shared her experience as a woman engineering leader. And it was 2019, early 2019, I think, when Dr. Hans Hoyer, whom you just heard, he shared with me and several other women engineering leaders and said that how about we go for a volume. That was the first volume, and I was fortunate enough to write there. And it was so popular, it was so inspiring that we went for the second, third, and fourth volume, and the fifth and sixth are in making. So in the fourth volume, we had two very distinguished authors, and both of them are, the two authors are here. There are many authors there, and I strongly encourage to read the book, and you will soon get the link in chat how you can buy the book. But let's first discuss a little bit about the experiences of these two women leaders, and at the same time I'll discuss my experience as a woman engineer, and especially in context to what today's topic, beyond the book. I mean, it's we write something in the book, but then beyond that, there are other stories, other layers in our lives, which we will discuss. And women in business, today's topic, women in business, opportunities and challenges. And again, these two are very distinguished guests. We are, unfortunately, Maria Teresa couldn't join today, but we will hear from them. And incidentally, I also have some business experiences, and I will share later on. But let me first introduce Dr. Juliana Palanyangyo, and I hope I have pronounced your name correctly. And she's she's an electrical engineer, and she is the founder and CEO of GENI energy consulting firm, and she established that, which offers consulting services for hydropower plants, power lines, renewable energy, oil and gas projects and initiatives. She has worked as the Deputy Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Energy and Minerals in Tanzania, and there are many, many accomplishments. I mean, I think I'll take the entire time to say, but what I'll just emphasize that she holds a PhD in Business Administration Management, and then she's also an electrical engineer and she graduated from the University of Applied Sciences in Cologne, Germany. what really was interesting to me that she's a founding member of Karibuni, and it's a German word, I think, Friedenkreis Tansania, Deutschland. And it's an NGO, non-governmental organization founded in 2001 at Leverkusen in Germany. This NGO strives to help underprivileged girls and orphans in Tanzania. And that really stayed with me. And since 2001, this NGO has been able to manage over 128 projects or programs on youth and women by paying school fees and grants and educating them in various capacities. I will come back to you, Juliana, with questions on the NGO, but let me also introduce Fahima Mohammed. Fahima, I love what you have written, actually spoke in the book, and your book title, it's Harnessing and Sustaining Power. And Fahima Fahima Muhammad Hassan was born and raised in Hargeisa in Somaliland. She's an electrical engineer too. She has an MBA in project planning and management, and her specialty is in control and protection systems. Again, she's also a very accomplished person. And without going into much details, I'll focus on this. In 2019, Fahima founded her own company, and that I love. Your own company, F&H Solar, and I guess the name has come from your first name and last name. Solar, and which focuses on rural areas in Somaliland that cannot afford high-cost electricity. She also established the Women in Power and Energy Association, WPEA, which focuses on employing and granting rights to young female engineers. And I will be having questions about both your company and the organization that you have founded. But first, I'm going to Juliana. At some point, I will come back to my stuff also, but I mean, reading about you, Juliana, and I love the title you have, Queen of the Professional Jungle, the title of your chapter. Just love it. I mean, this is so pertinent and so authentic in a sense. So tell us about your experience in Germany, both as a student and subsequently when you formed the NGO, and how you help the young girls and women. Tell us about that.
Thank you so much, Dr. Soma. Yeah. You asked first the title of my story, The Queen in the Professional Jungle. It was very interesting because when I submitted my story to the managing editor, Aliki and Kayang, I didn't have any title on that story. And because I told them that I've never written a story. So they brought me a lot of questions. They said, if you answer all those questions, the story will be complete. So I had to answer every question. They said only 15 pages, but I gave them more than 30 pages. So it was fun. And Kayang asked me, but there is no title. I said, I don't know. To me, I just answered the question you sent me. She said, it's the same with all engineers about writing stories. It's a little bit complicated. But inside the story, when I started my diploma in electrical engineering course, I was the only female in the class. They were 16. We were 16, but I was the only female. And very unfortunate, I came from a modern secondary school, not a technical secondary school. So it was very difficult for me because I couldn't even, during the first day at the workshop, I didn't even know what was the screwdriver. We were being asked about the tools we had because we were given a toolbox. We have to identify the things inside. I couldn't even show what was the screwdriver is. So I was looking at my neighbor, and when they asked, can you show the hammer if it is in the toolbox? Then I look at him, he raised the hammer, then I looked into it and raised the hammer. So it was very difficult. So I told my husband, my uncle, who was the one who insisted that I study engineering, I said, okay. I said, uncle, it's better for me to leave and go and do something with the ladies, because I was selected to take electrical technician on the aircraft technician. But the family said, no, you're going to take electrical engineering. So I said, look, I'm the only female. How can I compete with these men? He said, work hard, you will conquer it. So I'm telling you, doctor, I worked very hard, and by the end, I was always on top. And I was selected to remain at the institute as an instructor. Okay, I worked with TANESCO, Tanzania Electric Supply Company in Tanzania. And then I was offered to study electrical engineering in Germany. To me, to my astonishment again, when I reached there, I was the only female in the class out of 70. So I said, oh, I thought that was only in Africa. Also in developing countries, it seems STEM subjects are a little bit difficult to ladies all over the world. So I was only again the first one. And it was very difficult for me. I said, my God, how can I survive here? And the language barrier, definitely. So, but with time and after some few seminars at the beginning, we were asked how we see and how is Germany in general. I said, my goodness, whenever I sit somewhere nearby, nobody came around me. It was very difficult. I said, how can I survive? Yeah, because I thought maybe because I'm a lady and also because I'm black, maybe they're afraid of me. The whole, really, almost a month, nobody sat near me. When I sit somewhere, the first and the second row, back and front, nobody sat. So they told me, oh, German culture, you have to follow them. German culture, they don't come to you. So you have to find friends yourself. I said, oh, if that is the case, I'm talkative. I said, that is not a problem to me. So I started mingling with them. Some they didn't, some say yes, but at the end, when we finished the first 5 years, the first one were 15, and I was among them. So this word, the jungles, meant that I was jungling among men at the diploma level and at the degree level. I felt like a queen in a jungle because I'm always with men around me. I thought sometimes even my thoughts were just thinking like them, because when we see girls passing through, I was always among them telling, look at that medal. She's pretty, can I help you? So that was the cause that came that, yeah, the title was as it is.
And well, when you formed the NGO,
yes.
Did you get any support from everyone, or were there some people saying, "Oh, how is she going to do it? She's a woman, and can she do it?" Or was there a different approach towards that?
The NGO, it came also, it emerged also from Germany. When I was studying, we had a lot of seminars and workshops, and during that time, women emancipation was taught all over the place. And then we were visited with many ladies from the party that was ruling by that time, SPD, and some later CDU. They were asking us, if we go back to Tanzania, how are you going to help other women? Because they saw we coming from underdeveloped countries. How are we going? And they read a lot about that. Women are undermined and so on.
Yeah.
I said, in my country by that time, alphabetism was very high. 85% could read and write, including my mother, who didn't even go to school, but she knew how to read and write because they had evening classes for adult education.
Yeah.
So I said, to us, there was a big problem on the little girls. When they get pregnancy at school, they were expelled. And when the parents are also strict, they also chase away that lady, that girl, and they ended up on the streets. Sometimes they end up as prostitutes, and sometimes they end up being married to very unwise men who doesn't really pay attention to them. So I said that could be my help to them. If I go back with what I've learned, we can start maybe a workshop or some education on how to prepare maybe electric wiring, and it could help them, because at the end there is this VETA, which is a government institution. They can even do exams and they can find some certificates to allow them to get better jobs. So they were impressed of what I told them, and they went back, and they came after 2 weeks, and I was called again and said they can have a helping hand for that matter for these young girls in Tanzania. So the NGO Karibuni Freundkreis Tanzania Deutschland was formed. Yeah, and since then, when I came back, I started before coming back. I started by 2001 when I was on leave. I came back from Tanzania, from school, and to Tanzania, and I started that and the first girl who got that, who inspired me to help her, was a housemaid of my neighbor. She was housemaid. She's called Lydia. She was housemaid, and whenever you come back from work, when I came back from work, she was there with a little girl, and at least reading some books. I said, Lydia, I think you like learning. What happened? She said, my father died and nobody could support me. My mother is a housewife, and she told me to do some jobs so that I get money to help myself. Anyway, it didn't matter anymore. But then when I came back again in 2003, her mother died. And then she came to tell me, very unfortunately, my mother has died. And the family discussion has concluded that I have to go back to Mara Musoma, where she came from, and to be married. Because nobody wants me. I'm a big girl now. Then I asked her, is that means that now your education career is complete out? She said, yes. Very unfortunate, I can't do anything. I said, if someone wants to help you, are you ready? She said, yes, I'm ready. So I told her to ask the brother of her uncle, her uncle, if he is willing, that I could support her through this NGO. So I contacted my friends in Germany, because the NGO is at Leverkusen in Germany, and they said, yes, we can support her immediately. So the girl started at secondary school. She has finished, and now she is an electrical technician, and she works at where I was working in Arusha.
Thank you for sharing this with us. You know, I mean, if as women, not just engineers, as I mean, women who have been able to, I would say, sustain their enthusiasm throughout their lives. I mean, despite we all have faced a lot of obstacles, but we have been able to overcome them. If we do not help other young women who want to become someone one day and help them study, and especially, I mean, having education is that's what separates us from others. I mean, that is necessary. It's not just for a degree, it's for a total enlightenment. So I cannot commend you enough for doing this, and thank you so much for sharing your story. I'm now going to ask Fihima some questions, and she in her early career, she has been successful in other companies, but in 4 years ago or a little earlier, she opened a company called F&H Solar, and I wanted to know a little bit about the company, which what I know is that it focuses on rural areas in Somaliland, and where you cannot, one cannot get a very low cost electricity, but you want to bring low cost electricity there. How this came into your mind, and what all you have to do, and did you experience any obstacle?
Okay, thank you, Dr. Soma. It's my pleasure to be with this leadership women like Julia and Dr. Soma. It's my pleasure. Let me start with my true and my life experience. I graduated from high school, which was only girls, called Nuruddin Girls High School. And I was good at maths and physics. So in Somalia, you see, you also hear that Somaliland or Somalia countries face high cost of electricity. And most of the people, 70% of the people are vulnerable people, which has low income and cannot avoid high cost of electricity. So, and every month I see my parents struggling with high cost bills of electricity. I was wondering why Somaliland cannot get cheap and affordable electricity. That's where my field has started. So I entered electrical engineering. One of the biggest challenges I faced was my society and the culture. In Somali countries, I see the whole Africa face and culture challenge. But I think Somali people are the most difficult people to deal with, if it is related with and hard working and choice. So the cultural are still barriers us and moving us backward to develop our country and to develop our careers. When I start my electrical engineer, the most questions I get was, why you are studying engineer? You are Muslim, you can climb and the high towers, you can't do anything, you can't work in power stations, you can't be any civil engineer, you can't do anything. Why you choose the nursing, which is more easier than and much familiar with the field. I was struggling with more challenges, and still the young females are still facing this kind of challenges about the society. So I didn't listen to anyone. I start my junior working hand, improving my technical and my technical skills. Then I graduate from an electrical engineer 5 years, for 5 years. Then I come to workspaces. I work, I write my CV. I go to the power companies or power utilities. They say to me that they cannot hire any female engineer because this industry is only for men, and this hard work is only made for men. You can do stay your home, or can you be secretary? Simple secretary, you can copy anything, you can bring cafe, you can do the simple things, but you can't be an engineer. So once upon a time, me and my friend will sit together and we just focus on the renewable energy in Somaliland. We make a short research about it. We make a study. We found that Somaliland is one of the richest countries in renewable energy, especially the solar and the wind. And so we thought about if we know that 70% of the people are vulnerable people or live in the rural areas, those who cannot avoid high cost of electricity. So we think about small products which can benefit for the rural area, at the same time can help them to buy easily. So we bring a solar kit, which is 11 watts with 3 lamps. We start volunteering, going to rural areas, making some of training, short training, soft training, how to use the solar, or how they can benefit with them. Also, we make some trainings about if they move from one place to place, they can simply carry with them and install where they go. So, and we start the project, then we start project call it and rural solar solutions, which was our first project implemented by FNH Solar Company. we hired 2 female engineers, which was young graduated. So we start, and then we starting establishing an association of women in power and energy association, which now advocates for the female engineers, also gives trainings and technical support. Here we are, and now we belong to the male-dominated industry.
That is very, very interesting. And although I have been really helped by many, many men, starting from my father and in life, but it is true, the work that we do I mean, especially in engineering domain, different types of engineering, it is a male-dominated world. While you both were speaking, I remembered what happened my first day when I first joined BTech, Bachelor of Technology, and I was in technology chemical engineering branch. And the very first day, there were 2 guys who came and told me that, why did you join? And I said, well, I want to study this. And then they said that, anyway, you are not going to utilize this, whatever you are learning, because you are not going to work and you are going to stay home. And so it's just a wastage of a seed which could have gone to a man, in fact, or a guy. And then I said, oh, okay. And I said, I'll show you what I will be able to do. So it was, I mean, in our batch, combining 3 different specializations and so on, we had 80 students, and there were a total 10 girls. But the 40 people that we were, 40 students, we were very close, and I'm in close contact with all of them. I mean, those who are alive and those who we could connect with. But all the women work. One of us passed away very early and due to cancer, but all others worked. And there were 7 amongst these 40. And there were, it never ever happened that these women were any less than the men in the class. And in fact, they did much better, I would say. So do you think that is still the notion, Juliana? What do you think if we think of African context or the world context, are still women not encouraged to do STEM or specifically engineering, technology, etc.?
In my country, I could say at least now things are changing.
Yeah.
Because at least there are role models to show that engineering, if you do it, you can climb the ladder, at least. But before, it was really difficult, as on my side as well. When I started doing well in STEM subjects, my brother discouraged me. He said, you are doing this, but when you go higher, you won't manage it. So I did engineering, not only because I thought it was only the reason that I proved to my brother that I'm better and I can do it. So it led me to where I am today. But nowadays, we are inspiring a lot of girls. I'm a chairperson of a secondary school called Queen of Family Secondary School in Kahama area, where it is a girls' secondary school alone.
Yeah.
And very unfortunate, in my country, in my area where I come from, illiteracy is rampant, especially on the girls, because they bring a lot of doubt to the family.
Yeah.
Of course, nowadays things have changed a bit, but before, if you have we have white, like my color, girls, and the family is happy, expecting to get more dollars. So most of girls were not going to school because the family wanted to have that that dowry area. So, but now, of course, the government is very keen on that, and it has emphasized that all children have to go to school. And if the girl passes, she has to continue, and no parent has to stop any child for further her studies. That is also nowadays better, but we are still inspiring them that STEM subjects are the key to this digital world of today. Because if you know mathematics, it's easier for you to divest anywhere. Yeah, and from that school, we've got a lot of doctors, including my daughter. She studied there. She's a doctor now, medical doctor, and we have a lot of engineers. And one of the girls whom I cited in my story, she's now a lecturer at the Dar es Salaam Institute of Technology, and she's always telling me, "I'm telling you, my role model. I'll be better than you. I'll be a professor." I was saying that's good. At least you see that what you have done has developed others to like STEM subjects. And also during the in a month ago, we launched our Rising to the Top book. This one in Tanzania. All the stories are there. I did it, and most of the invited guests were students, primary schools and secondary schools.
Yes.
I didn't quite be, yes. And the guys and those who came to talk to them were the high level people, like the Minister of Works and Transport, Chief Secretary of Zanzibar, Revolution of Zanzibar, Engineer Zena, and there were many Vice Chancellor of the University of Mandela, Nelson Mandela. There were a lot of prominent people there. The President of Engineers Tanzania was there. Kayang Jogan came. So they were saying, "Oh, these good big people are here. So it means if I do STEM and go to those fields, I'll become one of the top." So they were asking a lot of questions after everything was done, and after lunch, we had to send a lot of autographs to them, encouraging them, giving them words that what they do, they will acquire the knowledge, and they will acquire the position they need. Yes.
Thank you so much. And as you were saying, well, I mean, I hadn't written about it anywhere. It just came to my mind that it was 1946, obviously. I wasn't born then at all. And my aunt, my mother's sister, she was studying, it used to be called intermediate. It's 11, 12 class those days back in India. And it was in Calcutta, now called Kolkata. And she was studying, she was in science stream. And then she got married. And those days, girls used to get married quite early. And she was 18 years old when she got married. And then she was not allowed to study anymore. And she couldn't finish that diploma or, intermediate of arts or science or something like that. And then, of course, she couldn't become a graduate also. But she was very, very good in math and science. And eventually when we were in school or so, she would just stand, suppose I'm doing a math, and she would just stand next to me and say, "Oh," and I would get stuck. And she said, "Oh, you do this and it will be solved." And it used to happen. So this was just one part of the story. Many, many years later, when I just graduated from college and I was planning to go to do masters and so on. And then my mother was very keen on getting me married, and there were some of the people were suggesting, "Oh, there is a boy, he's a guy, it's wonderful," and blah blah blah. So like that, and I was trying to say that no, I don't want to get married. I want to study because then I can be what I want to be. And then, but my mom was so keen, and she said, "Oh, you wear nice dresses and jewelries and all these things. But she came all the way from my aunt. She heard that from my mom on phone, and then she took a bus and she came to talk to my father and told my father that do not do what happened to me, do not repeat it, because it will stop. Whatever she does, I mean, she will get busy and so on. At least she should have master's, if not PhD. And because my father really respected her very much and said, I will listen to you. And of course, my father didn't listen to my mom, listened to her elder sister. And thankfully, I was able to study and go on with my life. And I'm so grateful to her that for doing that, coming all the way and doing that. So we all have these things, especially in STEM discipline. And I'm coming to Fima for, can you share any experience that you had to overcome some stigma or something that you are in the STEM discipline and I mean, during your studies or when you were working and so on, when men said that you would not be able to do, or other women said, oh, no, don't do STEM, especially electrical engineering.
Yes, well, yes, when, as I say, the relatives and the societies are the one of the barriers thing that happened to me. Because when we are in the third year of baccalaureate degree, we shall go having a practical skills. Practical. Yeah. So we will go to power station to see where the how the generators work, how the transformer work, we want to see all the utility. So when we go to site, all we meet was, hey, girls, sit there, don't touch anything. You are girls, you don't know this thing. Be safe. They always say, because of your safety, we are not allowing you to touch anything. But the men are always on the right side. He is doing anything, having a full practical, doing anything, and giving them an installation, giving them full practical, but the women are also ignoring. And in my career, we face so much discrimination because this field was only allowed for men. In our country, especially, all the electrical engineers, all the civil engineers were all men. They were surprised when you say, where are you studying electrical or where you are working then? You will end by staying in your home. No one will give you a job. No one will help you. So these things will really feel as more disappointed. After we graduate, we start program to the young and in the young females, those who are in high school, we empower them to study STEAM, to increase the number of the females. So we are willing in the coming years to have a full female, and at least 40% of the female to be entering the STEAM. We're still struggling and many challenges in our country, although if we see 5 years before and think a lot, the country are progressing step by step and developing, and I'm willing the mind of the people will change and give the opportunity as a man to the female engineers.
Wow, thank you for sharing. One question I have for you, Fima, I mean, did you get any mentor during your during the course of your study or while work, whether man or woman, it doesn't matter. I mean, a mentor to help you in growing up and becoming so accomplished.
And in my study, we didn't have any model female engineer or any mentor who can help us to support any kind of this hard field. So even if the man are starting helping you, he will not be full honest to help you because himself has facing many challenges to help the female. So now the females and the young generation has asked to monitor them. But in my time, we didn't find anyone can help us to develop our technical skills or anything. So I'm doing my best to the young female engineers to help them and grow up, inshallah.
Thank you. I had one of my teachers when I was doing bachelor's, and I will say her name, she's no longer alive, Dr. Devi Chakraborty, and has had the same last name as mine. And she was incidentally a classmate of my father many, many years ago before that. And she herself was a real role model. And she helped me understand myself that I'm more inclined to do engineering and that kind of work. Many years later, I was at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, and that job wasn't working well. And and the dean of the department actually came and said, you are more inclined to engineering and engineering education, and that's how you work. So try to focus on that. And that also helped. And different times of my life, I got many mentors, and I cannot overemphasize the roles they have played in my life at different times, and kind of took me from one step to another. Another mentor, I'll say his name, he's Dr. Nelson Baker, and he's Dean of Professional Education, Georgia Tech. And he also helped me in continuing engineering education, understanding what the field is, Dr. Andy DiPaolo. And then Hans, I don't know if he knows or not, but he also really is one of the mentors that I have in my professional life. So I'm very fortunate. But I would like to know the audience also, if you, what questions do you have? And please write, as Aliki has said in the chat. I think she has said that you write your questions, and we'll be asking questions another 6 minutes or so. But I want to come to Juliana, and I want to ask her a question that talking about the overcoming the challenges in life, besides what you talked about, how was your family support, and did you have to overcome any challenges in that side also?
Thank you, Dr. Soma. I had some challenges, really big ones, if you would say so. But on the mentorship you asked, FEMA, to me, I had a very good help from my electrical technology professor, Professor Beg, who saw my distress because of the language barrier at the first year when doing my degree course in Germany. So he offered me every 2 weeks to tutors. There were some, I was not the only one, definitely there were some, to make sure that we keep it up. And really, I remain grateful for his mentorship today, because really, I have my mother tongue is Sukuma, I speak Swahili, and the official language is English nowadays. And now the fourth language, Germany, to master it so good. It was difficult. It was difficult. The first year, I'm telling you the truth. This first semester, whenever, of course, because I did a language course, I got that diploma for the language, PNDS language. But when I entered the lecture on the first day, professor was chatting some jokes, and people were laughing, but I was only grinning because I didn't know. It took me some time to really grasp every word. Believe me, by the third year, that's when I was completely good in German. When somebody jokes, at least I can get what he says. And on your question, with the support of the family, really I got a big support, because when I went to Germany, my daughter was 6 months old, and it was difficult for me, but I had a very good maid who stayed with my family. I stayed with her for 17 years, and then she got married. She's back again, and she's around now with my family. My husband also was a very good guy who liked educated women. He was always telling me, I like educated women, Julie. Go on, I will support you. Don't worry. Yeah. I got a big challenge when I was in Germany. I was expelled from my work by my employer, TANESCO, Tanzania Electric Supply Company. It was my husband who stood by me and told me, Julie, work. Don't worry. I am supporting you. So I had to go on. And the reason was, they said, why am I now doing masters? I was given permission to study degree course only. Why am I now doing masters?
Yeah.
At the same time, knowing that German, they offer diploma Eng, and that is degree and masters at the same time. It's one certificate. And now they're telling me come back with a degree, which I don't have. But my husband said, go on, do it. If you are sure you will complete successfully, do it. I'll be there for you. So I completed and came back. Yeah, and I tried to go in. They didn't let me in. I said, fine. Now I'm educated. I started a company, a contractors company. At the same time, I went to court.
Yeah.
Yes. So it took 2 years. Then I won the case. They took it further. They referred to another step up another court. They appealed. It was appeal court, but still I won. So I went back to work. I was reinstated, and to me it gave me a very good spirit and a very good instinct in me that wherever you think you are on the right track, do it. Do it, because you will at least achieve what has been desired for you. And you know, women, we have those instincts which says, if you do this, it's right. And pursue it, because it is inner you, and you feel it and you believe it, that I will. And I was always telling them I will win and come back, and I did it. Yes, after 10 years, I was appointed as Deputy Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Energy and Minerals, and that was a big gift to me. Yes, I did it with a lot of big projects at the national level.
Yeah.
And I then, thank you. And then I retired on 2018. And I said, after my retirement, why should I sit? Because during my tenure at the Ministry of Energy, we were told to be consultants because of the big projects. The president at that time didn't want consultants from outside, so we had an interview from the Association of Consultants Engineering Board, and I was among the 7 who got the consultants engineer registration. So I was registered as a consultant engineer. So after retiring, I said, why should I sit? I have this knowledge. Why don't I transfer it to others? And why don't I start something for me to keep me busy and to keep me working and rolling around? So I started this Gain Energy Consulting firm, which I have 2 big projects at hand, consulting the 14 megawatt power plant hydro at the Kagera River. And this project is for 2 countries, Uganda and Tanzania, and it will be commissioned this year. Yeah, and sun farming, we are producing 30 megawatts solar power in Uganda and others. So it keeps me rolling and helping others how to start it. And now I'm inspiring engineers to be consultants, because after that, even for him, I'm telling you, consultants is the best. Believe me, acquire the knowledge now. and be a consultant. At the end, your knowledge will be passed on to others. Up to 90, if you are there, you are still a consultant, is always a consultant.
Yeah.
That is my inspiration now.
Yes, I mean, what you said is so inspiring. And I have a question, and it came from the audience. I mean, and this is for FEMA, and I know you have mentioned in your journey in the book, the 4th volume, that if a girl, I mean, when the girls are growing up and they face a lot of obstacles, so what would you like to inspire them? Like, there's a question that what can we we tell the girls so that they get inspired to not only study in STEM disciplines, become an engineer, but also have the courage to overcome all the obstacles. This is for Fahima.
Okay. Well, and my message for them is, in my free time, I work as a volunteer, a social protection volunteer. So I believe if you are not good in STEAM, you can be brighter in different sectors. So I encourage them to build their capacity. It's where the junior starts, is to build the capacity, build your skills, learn different languages, learn different skills, work as a volunteer to get that experience, and work with and make many friends, improve your networking, to learn and to know where the challenges come from. If you study the challenge, you can know the right solution or the path you can go through. So I'm lucky to be with this book authors, one of the book authors, because I learned more experience and now I have different knowledge. And I'm happy to be with Julia, the senior consultant. It's my pleasure to know you. And I also encourage the female engineers to study the STEAM. The energy sector, especially the energy sector, is where the world are going on. The green energy, in the coming future, the world is shifting to the green energy. So I see there's a big opportunity for the female to write themselves, and that's my message. The capacity building is the main point.
Wonderful, thank you, Fahima. We have another question, but I want to mention that we have some very distinguished guests in the in our audience. First of all, I mean, my very dear colleague, friend, and sister, Tagwa Musa is now there, and who inspired us to have the this book series. In fact, we just started with one book, and now it is the 4th book. And if Juliana could show it again, hold it, it's there, right? Yes, that's the 4th one. I love the cover. And I also would like to mention 2 other people. Michael Milligan from ABIT is there, and ABIT actually sponsored the book. Michael and his wife both have traveled the world a lot, and it's really a treat to talk to them and learn from their experiences, what they have seen, what's happening in different parts of the world in engineering, especially to the women engineer. And then we also have Sushma Kulkarni. She's from India. She is working on she has on the 3rd volume of this book, about the Indian women engineering leaders. So she's also there. So I want to acknowledge that. And of course, we have many other people. I have one last question, and I think just within a minute, if Juliana, you could answer. This is from the audience again. What can we teach young men today in order for them to not discriminate against women in the workplace? I mean, how we can, what should we teach them? And then I'll give it to Hans Hoyer, Dr. Hans Hoyer, to say the last few words. And I hope he gets to say our conference with GEDC. But what can we teach the men?
Yeah, my message to men, yeah, and to the young aspiring females as well, because it is today, it is together. That first of all, the male counterpart, they should know that women are capable of doing everything they want.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Yes.
I can tell you.
And they can, they have the will, and they are able. Men, if you compare men and women, because we are doing works together, women have more, they're more sensitive. The sensitivity to women helps a lot, so that things can't go wrong in most of the time of the things, because they have that instinct that we are more careful compared to men. So men, be careful. We are coming up. We are good. We are able, and that we have shown you that we can. In this gaining energy where I am, I have 4 men counterparts. They are very, very, very good to me, and they believe in me. Believing in women engineers as male, it will make the workplace easier, nicer, and things can go on well. Just for the women engineers, that innovation is expected in their workplace, and they should find solutions on the challenging works, and avoid excuses, because we have some problems as well. There are a lot of excuses. I am that, and that. No. Avoid making excuses on jobs given by your superiors, and attend the works timely. But I'm saying that we are able to do the same works as men, and we have that courage. And I encourage young girls not to be afraid, work hard as much as you can. The world believes in you.
Thank you so much. And these are the words that we will keep with us. And with that, I am giving it to Dr. Hans Hoyer, our Secretary General of IFEES and Executive Director of GEDC, to speak a few words.
Thank you so much. Dear colleagues and ladies, I am just inspired. I'm grateful for your thoughtfulness, the insights, and I'm learning from you, the 3 of you, sharing your life journey. It's quite inspiring. And I would someone let you know, several very close friends and colleagues are joining us also. We will share this recording of this webinar globally. I want you to know that I think it's fundamentally important that our global community learns from the incredible life experiences, not just only professionally, but personally, that you've shared. I'm really, really inspired. And the seeds I want to plant, and this relates to what Soma just indicated, we're working very closely with many close friends and colleagues in Africa to come together this year, this November, in Cape Town. And I want to follow up with all of you to join us. Not only will it be professors, very fundamentally important engineering deans and leaders and students and corporate colleagues. We're working in close partnership with many, many friends and colleagues in Africa and throughout the world. And I'll follow up with you. Just a couple of other things just leading up to that. And thank you so much, Soma, for facilitating this. And I'm very happy that Tagwa Musa and Professor Sushma is here, who've led the other series. We are working with Tagwa, for example, to write our 5th edition focusing on the MENA and Arab world, just for you to know. And complex, exciting, and so forth. We're working on it for the next few months per se, and also with a close colleague friend from Malaysia, focusing on Southeast Asia. So I just want all of you to be aware of what we're doing currently. in preparation for our Cape Town, particularly since both Fahima and Juliana are connected also to the corporate world, the GDC has a very important space we call the GDC Industry Forum. And we have a couple of webinars leading up to Cape Town. And in Cape Town, we will have half-a-day session bringing together deans, academic leaders, and corporate business leaders such as yourselves. And I can send you further information on that. So I just wanted to plant that seed. Above all, this has been an inspiring morning for me, Soma, and thank you for your creative facilitation. And let us stay in touch and continue to take the journey together. Above all, I wish all of you and your families well, and be peaceful and healthy.
Yeah.
And thank you kindly.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you for joining. And
I would like to have, excuse me, can I take a picture?
Yes, you are right. And if the Aliki hasn't taken, we should. Yep.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you, Fahima.
All smile. Thank you a lot.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Peace be
Thank
with you.
you
Welcome.
so much.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
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 Bye.